This is the most recent piece I've written, and it's called Muhammad. Your reputation precedes you. Never did air know a more blessed home than in the lungs that you breathe through. Aside from the one, there is love for none that exceeds you. And as the days go on and this world becomes increasingly see-through, your life becomes cemented ever more as the light which we see through. If only we knew how much we actually need you. You never once ate alone. Never forgetting to kiss your wife when leaving or returning home. You preferred the marks of a coarse mat to the comfort of a throne, because in this world of excess, things were enough for you. Like how food for one was enough for two. Like how you always maintained your guests as though your reserves were plenty, when I know for a fact that on most nights your pantry was empty. Like how food for 8 was enough for hundreds. Like how centuries of the devil's work in 23 years you undid. You loved standing in the rainfall so still, because you knew the name of pain all too well. Remained upright despite the fact that all you felt throughout the losses dealt was longing to be reunited with all who fell, from your wife to your uncle, the newborn child you held when everyone else thought your message too hard to sell, success too far to tell, those barks you'd quell as you saw the foundations of your community start to gel. And it's crazy how you had enough space in your heart for me, how even before my existence you prayed for me so heartfully, how 1400 years ago you longed for me. It's hard to see how I'd amount to anything without you being a part of me. When I heard about your strength, no man's strength could impress me. When I heard about your compassion, didn't matter who to test me, because no matter how much I slip, you're always there to correct me. Taught me to right my wrongs in this life, so in the next I'll be debt-free, humble that of all his servants, my Lord would select me to be amongst your ummah, to be amongst those set free from the servitude of this life. I pray my Lord protect me from the perils of the next, that my Lord accept me into the gates of his mercy, where I hope to meet you under the blessed tree. I tremble at the thought of being the object of your gaze. Because Ya Rasulullah, what part of you isn't worthy of praise? You saw Rome in the trenches, Medina in the caves, stood tall amongst the nobles, kept the company of the slave, taught people their worth through the eyes of the beneficent, and defended their honor when it was stripped by the malevolent. It's evident your feet were on this earth, but your character was heaven sent. Your heart was ever cleansed. Enemies hell-bent on your severance became your best of friends. Maintain your dignity even when the belligerent berated you. If only we treated our loved ones like you treated those who hated you. Never return harm with harm. Their animus only made you more compassionate. It's miraculous how you combine qualities so immaculate, yet never made us feel inadequate. And I don't know where I would be without you, but I do know that I want to be with you. And if you would allow me to be so candid, I would probably weep on your shoulder just like Salman did, the one you accepted as your own. A refugee from a foreign land, you made a member of your blessed home. I wonder if you'll recognize me like you recognize Ka'b. How in a moment you made him go from feeling so insignificant to showing him that you valued him and that his potential was limitless. Oh, how Abdullah ibn Mas'ud must have felt front and center when you announced that to ask permission into your home, he was to just remove the curtain and enter. I can't comprehend how Bilal was able to endure such torture before those that would doubt you, but was unable to endure the sight of your city without you. How Uthman in his final moments found nothing more he could covet than to soon break his fast with his long-lost beloved. How Abu Bakr in his final moments found comfort that the day was the day you passed, and that his age exactly matched yours in number. Oh, how I wish I could have been in Mu'adh's place when you told him that you loved him before your final embrace. Your character was consistent, never once falling from grace. Without uttering a sound, they recognized the truth in your face. You showed us through the Ansar that it isn't about the milestones you reach, but about the company you keep. So I chose to love the Ansar, because whatever path they take, I know you're not far. And I acquainted myself with the solace of prayer, knowing that in the abundance of my sajda, I would find you there. And I found a family in the presence of the meek, because you wake where they wake and you sleep where they sleep. Developed a distaste for the prospect of this material world and its pollution, hoping that you'll recognize me by the marks of my ablution. I've never once found my heart in a state of confusion, except that it looked to your example and found its solution. Because how are we enlightened if not by the light of your guidance? How are we moved if not by the profundity of your speech and the power of your silence? You resorted to mercy, they resort to violence, boasting before the weak and bowing before the tyrant. Please don't consider your ummah divided as your love unrequited. Please intercede for us even though we left the book unrecited. Please plead for us before our Lord that we're delighted to approach the gates of Jannah, not meeting them uninvited. But no, your path is not one that will appeal to me unless my sights are set beyond what the skies hide and what the seas see. Because your path ends at the divine. My aspirations end with time. Your example is timeless. My fancies are binded. If I'm not headed where you're headed, then the path I tread won't be the path you treaded. Now I get it. Let them laugh in this life. Together we'll share a laugh in heaven, because that reputation precedes you. Aside from the one, there is love for none that exceeds you. If only we knew that you taught us about him and we believed in him because we believe you. Little do we know how much we actually need you. So we send you salutations in hopes they will reach you, knowing that everything we know is just a preview until the day that we meet you. Jazakallah khair.